guys, I am doing some meal prep today, and so I thought it would be a good time to talk about some health related things. I mentioned in a video that I did the other day when I was on the plane, I was talking about like what makes me camera shy and, like just sort of how that was related to my identity. And I mentioned in there that I had at some point gained some weight. It was after I had my daughter, and then I kind of just gained more and more weight after that. And like a couple of people asked, "Oh, how did you lose the weight?" And so I thought it would be fun to talk about like just kind of like a little like my health journey, I guess, and eating and things like that. Obviously, different things are for different people. And I'm actually doing this. I don't even normally meal prep, to be honest, because I don't know, I can never get it together enough in order to do it, but I'm doing it today because I have not been eating well and it's been really affecting me. And so I thought it would be cool that like I could get started again in the right direction and talk about it with you guys. Yes. So after I had my daughter, I lost weight. I was probably about 25 pounds overweight, or 25 pounds heavier than I am now. And it really affected every aspect of my life, from my identity to how well I would sleep to my energy level. And I didn't realize it until I changed it. And so I've done a few different things a few times to lose weight and get healthy. And the first time I did it, I did a Beachbody program because someone who I knew worked at Beachbody, and it was called like the 21-day fix. And it was really like super hardcore. It was like you would count calories or fit your food into different container sizes, and the exercise was like super hardcore. It was hard, and I would dread doing it every day. But I did definitely lose weight, which was my goal. But they say that if you basically the more slowly you lose the weight, the more slowly you put it back on, or the longer it takes you to lose the weight, the more likely you are to keep it off. And I think that the reasoning behind that is that if it takes you longer, it's because you're slowly doing things that address the habits that cause you to gain weight in the first place. Where, as opposed to going on like the dishwasher is on. Let me turn that off. As opposed to going on like an extremely restrictive diet that is not going to be sustainable in the long run. So things like, so after I did that program, I got in really good shape, and pretty quickly I gained it all back. I would say within a year. And so after that, I didn't lose weight again immediately. I just got to grab one thing from the fridge. By the way, I'm making my breakfast, so I use this Greek yogurt, full fat, every day. So after that, I kind of went on a few different, like I guess the journey is taking online classes. So I did some cooking classes online. Like I did Alice Waters' master class. And I just love her because she's just all about eating real food. And, the less processed, the better. But she actually makes it taste really good. She has some great recipes. And I was really into this stuff, not only for me, but also for my kids. Like I wanted to make sure that I was giving them healthy food. And I also did this other online class. Gosh, the platform is called Creative Something. And I just know the gal's name is Amelia Freer, Freer. and she's a British gal, and she was very much into just eating real food, not processed food, and that sort of thing. And then I also, at some point, I did the Noom. I don't know if you guys have heard about it, but their plan is all about sort of teaching you the psychology behind overeating, and it's all about eating less calorie dense foods. It doesn't mean you can eat no calorie dense food, but you still log everything you eat, and it gives you like psychological tips throughout the day, and it tells you things like eating at the same time every day can help you. And I think, and I guess I've listened to many podcasts about fasting, and I have also listened, I don't know if you guys have heard of Zoe, but it's like a company that's all about your microbiome. And so I've listened to a lot of stuff in that regard as well. And so I'm just going to get some water. I add water to the Greek yogurt just to like make it so it's not such a clumpy consistency, even though I like it. But I find that I actually eat less of it if I add water. Anyways, where was I? I also put a little bit of cinnamon in it because it's just another plant-based thing, and also it cinnamon's supposed to help regulate your blood sugar. By the way, the plant-based thing that I'm talking about is based on a few episodes I listened to Zoe on a podcast from Zoe's founder, where he basically talks about the more plants or variety of plants you incorporate into your diet, even if it's like a dried spice, the better. It just helps your microbiome, and it helps, give it a different variety of foods. And he talks a lot about how people who have trouble keeping weight off, they actually have a very different microbiome than people who don't. And so just making sure that you're feeding it with as much variety as possible is a really good thing. So I guess the whole point of what I'm trying to say is that what wound up working for me is when I incorporated things that worked for me from everywhere. So like, I really like what I just mentioned about eating as many plants as I can in a day. And what I learned from Alice Waters and Amelia Freer is that was having, I believe that it is 6 or 7 servings of fruits and vegetables every day. And it's just not hard. Like, so at lunch, if I eat a salad with tomatoes and carrots and cucumbers and chicken and avocado, I'm already getting like at least 2, and lettuce, of course. I'm already getting at least 2 to 3 servings of veggies in that. And honestly, it's delicious, and it's not low fat. It doesn't taste bad, but it doesn't have things like added sugar, and it's all made from, it's all the ingredients are real food ingredients that pretty much just have one ingredient in them. And, in my breakfast, like when I make this yogurt, I try to include at least 2 servings of fruit in it. And so that's what I learned from Alice Waters and Amelia Freer, was increasing my portions of fruit and vegetables. At the time, I kind of would think about fruits and vegetables a lot more than I would actually include them in my diet. And so it was a big step. That really helped me. It helped me feel a lot more full, and it helped me with cravings, because when I would just eat more processed foods, I would always be craving something, and I would fill that craving with more processed foods. When in reality, like the vitamins and minerals that I'm getting from the plant matter, or the different vegetables and fruits, and even other things like nuts and seeds and even meat, I just wouldn't have cravings on the same level. And cravings are the hardest thing when you're trying to lose weight. Another big thing that I took away that I do, although I'm currently, I'm literally eating a cookie as I'm talking about this. So I've fallen a little bit off the wagon, and it's because I took too long to make my food. Like, I had to go to the grocery store and I was so hungry that I just broke down and ate what I had. But that's why they say in Noom that eating at a certain time every day is really important. So like, I kind of try to have breakfast at least 9 every day, or no earlier than and not much later than, because then when my hunger builds up, if I don't eat, or if I skip meals, or even if I don't have a snack, then I get so hungry that I can't control myself. My body is so starved of sugar or whatever it is that I actually can't control it. So eating regularly and eating meals is also a huge part of what helps to keep me on track when I am on track, which is most of the time. I'm just having a really bad week. And so the next thing I would say that has been really important for me, and by the way, when I sort of got onto this program, it's not really a laid out program, but when I started doing this program that I'm on, that's self-made, I did one thing at a time. I started out, like, I wasn't like, oh, I'm going to count calories all day, every day. I'm going to exercise as hard as I possibly can. And, because it's just unrealistic. It's impossible to go from not exercising at all, not eating well, to just flat out doing everything as hard as you can. Like, it's not impossible, but it is not sustainable. It's not sustainable for me personally to count calories. And it is not sustainable for me to go straight into doing all of those hard things from nothing. So I wanted to do something that I would succeed at, and that wouldn't make me so upset every day when I failed that I would just give up. By the way, that's one of those things with Noom that they talk about, like, just because you eat one thing that you don't want to eat that day doesn't mean the whole day is gone or the whole week is gone. It just means that morning didn't work out. Doesn't mean you have to starve yourself for the rest of the day. It's just every little bit better you get, like, or it is progress, and we're all going to have setbacks. We're not all going to be perfect all the time. So actually learning to get back onto the program is the biggest and most important thing that you have to learn. It's not trying to stop yourself from eating things that you shouldn't be eating. That's important, I guess, of course, but it's actually more important to be able to tell yourself, okay, that doesn't mean I have to cancel. That doesn't mean everything I've done so far is worthless, and I don't have to stop doing everything just because I did one thing wrong. And I thought that was really, really valuable wisdom, because just picking up and getting started again is it's probably the most valuable skill you can have in your journey of eating well. But so I would say I would say one of the first things that I did when I got started on this program was stop eating anything that had added sugar in it. Now, I eat plenty of things that have sugar, such as fruit, and actually that's pretty much it. But I don't eat sugar. So that does mean that I don't really generally eat jam, and I don't have honey. If I go to the coffee shop, I don't get sweet. I ask for no sweetener in my coffee. And if I have a matcha, I don't get it with sweetener. And it sounds like, I can understand that this sounds really hard, but I am getting sugar from fruit throughout the day. It's just I'm getting it in something that has a lot of fiber that helps to slow the instant release of sugar into your bloodstream. And so it's just, you're not getting those highs and those crashes. And let me just get a tissue. And the reason that this has made such a huge difference for me is because eating less is so much easier when you don't have insane sugar cravings. And to me, sugar cravings, like, you're almost not going to win against them. It just makes everything so much harder. And so eliminating those, it makes such a difference. The difference between when I do eat sugar and when I don't eat sugar is when I eat sugar, I feel bloated. I feel extremely fatigued. It's like almost like I have this brain fog all the time. My skin is broken out and I have a lot of trouble sleeping. And the second that I cut out the sugar, it just makes it all go away. Like, it literally is like, it waves a magic wand and it all goes away. And so that might not be realistic for some people. But once you stop eating sugar, all the other things start to taste sweeter. Like carrots start to taste sweet, because they have a good amount of sugar in them. Fruit starts to taste sweeter. And also you stop craving it maybe after about a week. And so there's a lot of diets which mention like things like having a cheat day, which is fine. But I found like if I tell myself, okay, I'm only going to eat cookies on the weekend, I would find myself not even really wanting a cookie. That's honest. Like, I know some people say that and you're like, yeah, right. But it's actually completely true. It's completely true. I just don't have cravings, or right now I'm literally eating a cookie. But when I get off of that addiction, I just don't have cravings for it. And so just, the sugar in the fruit is plenty enough for me, especially if I need a snack and I am feeling sugar craving. I try to eat like fruit and nuts, and it takes care of it. This is actually leads me to another really important point in this, which is that it's really important to get enough sleep, because when you're tired, it's like you're just weaker, and your mind is craving this energy that it's not getting from having slept, that it's going to make you want to go and eat simple carbs or sugar. And it's just trying to get the energy from somewhere in order to even have brain power, or to just do your normal functions that your body has to do in order to digest and breathe. And so that's when you haven't gotten enough sleep, that's when you're in danger of sort of binge eating and eating a ton of sugar. Also, I found that not having sugar helps me sleep better. So I guess it's kind of this like never-ending cycle. It's like, which one do you stop first? So that was another really key point for me. Sleep, obviously, it's key for everybody. And let's see. Okay, so eating no sugar for me means, at least for breakfast and lunch, not eating bread either. I love bread so much. Like, I just love it so much. But that white flour that's in there, it is kind of like, it's so processed, and it's not like you're not eating like the wheat. So it's all almost, it's like a straight shot of sugar. So I do not eat pasta or bread during breakfast and lunch. And so for dinner, if I'm having that for dinner, then I will eat it. Just because it's not realistic for me to have my kids eat the same thing that I'm eating all the time. And it's not realistic. Like, sometimes I need to make something quick, and pasta is what I can do, or pizza or something like that. So I just try not to eat it for breakfast and lunch, and that's sustainable for me. I gotta get an egg. So the other thing that I do that helps me a lot is that I actually eat the same thing every day for breakfast and lunch, but not dinner. And it is sort of like calorie counting without counting. It's like I know approximately how many calories are in me eating that thing, and so I don't have to count every day if I change it up. So like, and I don't actually know the calorie amount. I just know that when I did know the calorie amounts, they were fine. And so like, I know that if I have about 3/4 of a cup of full fat Greek yogurt and with a good amount of fruit, whatever's in season, and with cinnamon, and I put some chopped almonds or whatever nut I have on hand, and some hemp seeds and some chia seeds. And I know that that's an okay amount of calories for me to have in the morning. I don't even think about it. There's no counting involved. And I just have that every day. And like right now I'm having plums and blueberries, but last week I was having papayas and clementines. So I change the fruit based on whatever's in season or whatever I feel like. And so I am actually changing it up. But but it's still the same basic meal. And so for lunch, I also pretty much eat, like I guess I have a rotation of 2 things that I eat for lunch. And that is a chicken salad, or I have 2 eggs with avocado and some salsa. And then I put some veggies in there, like some tomatoes or I don't know if I have anything else on hand. But I know that I can have one of those 2 lunches. So my chicken salad is usually lettuce and shredded carrots, cucumbers, a teeny tiny bit of feta, an avocado, pepperoncinis, and some sunflower seeds, and let's see, I feel like I'm forgetting something. Oh, and chicken. Like I just get the shredded white meat chicken from the grocery store. I used to like cook the whole chicken and I was like, oh my God, I cannot keep up with this. So I just get pre-shredded white meat only chicken. And sometimes I get dark meat too. So I personally like the flavor of white meat chicken more than I like dark meat. So it's not like about it having less fat, because the salad has plenty of fat. It has sunflower seeds, it has avocado, and then the dressing that I make is literally just lemon, olive oil, salt, and pepper, and that's it. So getting lots of plants there, and protein and fat, and no sugar, and it's honestly like delicious. Like whenever I would eat processed foods, everything just started to taste gross to me after a while, and I would get sick of it. And I don't even know how to explain it, but it was just like being in a rut where when I eat lunch every day, I feel good after. And the same goes for when I have the 2 eggs and avocado and just some veggies. And then if I get hungry, I will snack on some fruit. Now I do try to have a fruit that has like a lot of water in it, like watermelon or even like a papaya or something like that. And then I have, I just usually have roasted almonds without any salt. And I just like those. Like almonds taste sweet to me, and it's because I'm not eating a ton of extra sugar that they just taste really good. And so having those 2 things really help with the decision fatigue of figuring out what's for lunch every day, what's for breakfast every day. I get so much decision fatigue because I'm usually making a totally separate lunch for my kids. And actually I make different lunches for each kid. So just for me, having the same thing just helps me so much. Okay, what else is there? Oh, we should talk about, okay, so when I did that 21-day fix beach body thing, had great like muscle tone, but the exercise itself, like honestly, it made me so stressed out. And I know exercise is supposed to be stressful to some degree, but basically, I was never going to do it again. And I will never do that again. I hate it and I dread it. And that's just not going to happen for me. I can't really explain why. It's just horrible. And it was like when I would think about doing that every day, this like feeling of doom would like come over me. And it would be that's not sustainable. It's not sustainable for me to go through that dread feeling every single day before I have to exercise. So for some reason in the last few years, when I would be in the car going to pick up my kids from school, or even just like when I would be walking on the beach, I would get this urge to like, well, this sounds bad, but like start running, but not like running away from my kids. Like, I don't know, like, anyways, as it turns out, the only thing that made this feel better, like it was almost like an angst or like an energy that needed to like come out somehow. In fact, it would even almost sometimes like it was strong enough where I would almost start crying. Like I honestly don't understand logically what was going on. I just know how I felt. And I know that the only thing that made it better was walking. And I was out of shape at first. And so I started only just like walking this short path by my house every day. But it was something that I could do. It was something that I liked. I could listen to a podcast or a book or music. And so it wasn't like, oh, this is the dreaded exercise. It was actually something that I loved doing. Like I loved traveling so much. And my favorite part about it was always walking. And I don't know, it was just something that just worked for me. And then I found that once I started being able to do that path easily, I just would go a little bit further. And then I would go a little bit farther. And then I started walking in areas where they had beautiful houses and beautiful gardens. And I sort of combined this exercise that I was doing, which I realize isn't really hardcore exercise, and many people will probably just think it's ridiculous. But anyways, I combined this exercise with something that I wanted to be doing already. I wanted to listen to the podcast. I wanted to listen to the book. I wanted to have a long call with my friend. I wanted to see people's gardens. I wanted to see people's beautiful houses. I wanted to feel inspired and be out in nature. And so combining exercise with that just made it something that I look forward to every single day. It's like when some people say they look forward to going to the gym. It's like I look forward to this every single day. And that is the example of something that is actually sustainable. And on top of that, for some reason, doing the walking, which now I walk about 5 miles a day. So it's about 12,000 steps. So it was much less than that. It started out at 5,000, but now that's the level that I'm at. And actually this last week I've been behind on it, and it honestly like tortures me when I don't do it. Okay. It doesn't torture me, but it changes my mood completely. Like I can be extremely negative and like angry about things. And then I go on my walk, and when I'm done, I feel like a completely different person. So not only is this like, do I get to see great houses and birds and flowers, but it helps with my mental health. It's like, this is the best exercise I've ever heard of in my life. Like, I can't imagine how anything could possibly be better than walking. And now I realize that it's like, I probably should be doing more muscle building activities and things like that. But it really is, it's a good whole body thing. Like it helps your core, it helps your posture, it helps you in every way. And so, maybe eventually I will do more of those things. But right now, this is what's working for me. This is what I can keep up. And this is what makes me feel really good. And it took me like, I don't know, I would say like even 2 years to sort of have this program where I don't eat sugar. I eat I eat pretty much the same thing for breakfast and lunch, and then I just try not to have processed foods for dinner. But other than that, I eat whatever delicious food that I want and that my kids want, and I try to incorporate vegetables into dinner. That's important too. And what I find is that the more vegetables I eat, the less I eat, like the less room there is for the more processed things. So it's sort of like, it's something that happens naturally. If you eat more vegetables, you'll eat less of the other things, because that's just, there's no more room after that. And just doing so takes care of the cravings. Gosh, there was something else I just thought of. Oh, okay. The other thing that we all hear of, intermittent fasting or whatever. So it's just, there's all these different philosophies: low calorie density, calorie counting, microbiome, walking, and eating at a certain time. So as far as the intermittent fasting, all that I do is that I don't eat any food after 6 o'clock. And if I'm hungry, I still don't eat. I have a LaCroix or a sparkling water or something, because if my stomach is full when I go to sleep, I can't sleep. I have a horrible time sleeping. And if I have food, which any amount of food contains sugar, it just keeps me up at night. And so, but the difference is that this little hunger that I feel isn't that insane hunger that you have when you're addicted to sugar. The sugar addiction, once you eliminate that from your hunger, the hunger is more than manageable. It almost feels nice. I know that sounds crazy, but it almost feels like, I don't know, like your stomach is empty and it's not bloated and it's not like yucky, and you're giving your system, I don't know, some kind of a break. And I just sleep so much better, and not eating after 6. And I usually don't eat before 9 a.m. but I actually have coffee before that. But I have about 2 tablespoons of half and half in it, but no sugar. But just not eating for that amount of time just works well for me. It just really works well. And gosh, there was something I was going to say that I keep forgetting. Oh yeah. So the reason why it's really good for me to fast at night while I'm sleeping is because I'm absolutely terrified of being a raging bitch to everybody during the day. If I fast during the day, that's not sustainable. I don't need to be going around murdering people because I'm hungry. And the hunger isn't that level, like when I'm not addicted to sugar, but still, I'm not going to risk it. I'm going to be hungry. I'll be hungry, a little bit hungry. It's not even really hungry. It's like a grumbling of the stomach a little bit, but it's not that terrible craving thing. Anyways, I'm going to deal with that at night when I'm asleep by myself, so that nobody else has to deal with my potential attitude at that time. Okay. All right, now we're going to chop some almonds. All right, that's done. I should probably start buying pre-chopped almonds. But one of the things about the almonds is that it adds just adds healthy fat. There's so many other good things in almonds besides just fat. And I just don't believe that fat makes you fat. I believe that it tastes delicious and it makes you feel satisfied. And if you're combining the fat with a good amount of, with like at least 3 servings of healthy fruit or vegetables, you just don't eat enough in order for it to become a problem. And so I think that's the trick. That's why eating the fruits and vegetables is so important. I need to chop a little bit more, is because when you put those on your plate, you're automatically eliminating the need for a ton of other calorie dense things. So it's just like a mathematical equation, basically. Okay, let me get a little spoon. All right, I also use chia seeds in my yogurt in the morning. And these just like are a really good source of fiber. It just like helps clean you out. It helps to stabilize your blood sugar. And I just think that it's so good for you. And it's just another plant matter that brings, you know, some sort of vitamins or some, who knows what, I forget all the words right now. These are hemp seeds too. And I just include them for the same reason. But honestly, the main reason I include them is because I love the texture. I love that there's like this creamy yogurt and this fruit that like has juice in it and is sweet. And then there's these crunchy nuts and like little tiny seeds. It's just honestly delicious. I love it much more than eating a muffin. Okay, here's one. It's just so yummy and pretty. All right, guys. Well, I think I will eventually just do a little video about my lunch in case that's interesting to you. But I think I mostly said everything I wanted to say about it. And that's just what works for me. This is in no way me telling anybody else what they should do. It really, it has nothing to do with that. It's just interesting conversation in case you guys were interested, in case you guys think about the same things. I just thought it would be fun to share. All right, well, you guys have an awesome rest of your day, and I hope to do more stuff like this in the future. Just talk about things that are important to me, and health is one of those. All right, bye. Oh, don't forget to check out Sins of Scientology, and if you haven't read my book already, you can find it on Amazon. It's called Beyond Belief, My Secret Life Inside Scientology and My Harrowing Escape. All right, bye for real this time.